Hi students, I'm Sonia from Vidyaguru, starting a new session on current affairs. This session is for the month of April 2022. As you guys can make out that I'm conversing with you in English. I'm speaking in English, not a word in Hindi. That means this session is going to be completely in English medium. If you're not comfortable with the language, you can switch to the Hindi session. That is also there in the playlist. Hindi medium session is obviously there, but this English medium session this session is primarily recorded for our students who are not able to understand Hindi well, like students from South India, like students from Northeast India, like students from Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Those students who are not able to understand Hindi well, we record a separate session for them. I'll start the session, but as usual, I generally ask that if you like it, if you understand everything, do press the like button for sure, share the video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you have not till now. Press the bell icon which is just beside the subscribe button. That's how you'll receive notifications of all the exam relevant videos which we upload. From here on, I'll be starting. But if I start the session, I am going to tell you the same thing, that the questions are super important, super relevant, and you'll actually make out after reading 2 or 3 pages, you'll realize that I'm not going to give you any information which is unimportant for any exam. So please stay focused from here on. The questions will start, and I really expect before I wrap up, you will learn all these questions which I'll be teaching you today. Now we'll actually look at the first question, which is about appointments and elections. When you read the headings, you understand this is the way we classify our video. When I start with the first question, you can look at the pictures of these people, and they're very, very important. Be it Suman K. Berry, Manoj Pandey, or Shehbaz Sharif. Look at these 3 questions, and they're surely going to be there in your exam. We'll start from the first one. New Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is such an organization, whatever change takes place, that becomes the question which is going to be there in your exam for sure. Now I'm saying he has become Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog, and he is going to be the 3rd Vice Chairman of Niti Aayog. His name is Suman K. Berry. When I move ahead, I'll actually talk about new Army Chief. New Army Chief of 29th number, but you need to learn. I've actually talked about Manoj Pandey earlier as well, as I referred to him as Vice Chief of Army Staff. Now you need to look at it. I am changing it. His designation has even further improved. I am saying he has become the Chief of Army Staff only now. Now, what is important here? He is actually, although he is the 29th number new Army Chief, but I am saying he is the first Chief of Army Staff from Corps of Engineers. Like, he is basically an engineer. That is what I am trying to convey here. That he is an engineer, first engineer who has become Chief of Army Staff. That is what I am trying to convey. But overall, the number is 29th. Manoj Pandey has become the new Army Chief. That is pretty important. Now, when you move to the 3rd question, it is a neighboring country, Pakistan. We need to know a lot about it. Going to be changed. Then this question, becomes relevant for our exam also. Now, what is an important thing here? New Prime Minister of Pakistan. He is 23rd numbers Prime Minister of Pakistan. His name is Shehbaz Sharif. He is from Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz Party. What happens is, at times, somebody teaches you that Shehbaz Sharif has actually become the new Prime Minister of Pakistan. The amazing part, which I generally feel where students lag, they forget to learn the parties of those important rank holders. Prime Minister's party is super important. His party's name is important, Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz. Please understand that if something is written in the brackets, does not mean that this question can never be asked. This question is asked, that is why I mentioned it, because I really believe your time is important. And whatever I am writing here should be important for your exam, should be relevant for you. When I move ahead with further 3 questions and further 3 appointments, I'll actually start with UPSC's chairman. UPSC's new chairman is Manoj Soni. New chairman of UPSC is Manoj Soni. You can actually relate it with the picture also. Now, Emmanuel Macron. We'll actually, read a little about Emmanuel Macron. We have talked a lot about this fellow. So, Emmanuel Macron, he is basically the president of France. Now you need to know he has been re-elected as the President of France. What is important out here? As I mentioned about Shehbaz Sharif, I am going to talk about Emmanuel Macron also, that if I say that he has become the President of France again, so he is from La République En Marche party, that you need to learn. When you actually try to translate, you can actually say the Republic on March, the Republic in March. That's what they are trying to say in English. Now we are saying Emmanuel Macron from La Marche party, re-elected President of France. When I move ahead, new principal scientific advisor to Government of India, Ajay Kumar Sood, that is his complete name. And if somebody asks you what does he do, he's a physicist. I'll actually explain that once again. It is basically new principal means main, so new principal scientific advisor, that is why, like that to Government of India. Ajay Kumar Sood, he is a physicist who has actually become the new principal scientific advisor to Government of India. When you refer to such a rank, advisor to Government of India, that too scientific advisor, try to understand what kind of question, what kind of importance this question carries. So the question is super relevant. This is going to be there in your exam. Ajay Kumar Sood is the name of this person and he is basically a physicist. Now when I proceed, I'll be talking about sports news. Sports news also, when you actually look at the number of questions I've added, they are very important. When I start with the first question, you need to learn it. Netherlands win Junior Women's Hockey World Cup 2022. 9th edition of it was won by Netherlands by beating Germany. That is what the question is. So Netherlands beats Germany. Netherlands stands as the winner. Germany stands as the runner-up. Where this particular cup took place, where this tournament took place, the place is important. Who won that is important. Runner-up is important. So all the question will be discussing once again. We are referring to Junior Hockey World Cup. But Junior Hockey World Cup, Women's Junior Hockey World Cup I'm referring to. And the number was 9th. The number was 9th which took place. Where? Which took place in South Africa. That is a little odd sort of place where this took place. Read that. It is Potchefstroom. That is actually the place which is in South Africa. So that is actually Potchefstroom, which is in South Africa, where this tournament took place. So Netherlands wins Junior Women's Hockey World Cup 2022 by defeating Germany. When I move to the next question, which is logo unveiled for Men's Hockey World Cup 2023, you need to see, I was referring to hockey here. Here also I was talking about men's hockey. So hockey and hockey. Now this hockey is about 2023. And Men's Hockey World Cup 2023, see, it will actually be taking place in Bhubaneswar and Rourkela. Men's Hockey World Cup, as it is Men's Hockey World Cup, it is important, that. And when a logo sort of thing is unveiled for the same, that becomes even super important for us. When I move to the lower point, which states that Commonwealth Games 2026 will take place in Australia. Victoria, Australia is the place. You even know that Commonwealth Games took place in Delhi some time back, you can say long back, but they took place here in India also. So Commonwealth Games sort of thing, if that is happening here, it is the news that you need to learn. When such sort of announcements are made that Commonwealth Games 2026 will take place at Australia, you have to learn that Victoria, Australia is the place. 23rd numbers Commonwealth Games which will take place there. So all the points I hope that you have learned, and we are moving ahead with this question, which is about important days. As we have read a lot about sports news, we have read a lot about appointments. I really don't feel that you even thought for a second that I've taught you something unimportant, because you yourself prepare for the exams. You know that whatever I'm teaching you is super important. If you are still watching, you can press the like button. Till now, if you are watching, press the like button, watch the video till the end, because you cannot skip even one question. We have started live batches. Live batches, if you wish to study from us, if you wish to study from the teachers of Vidya Guru, you can join us. The numbers are given below. You can call us up, you can inquire, and you can join us. We'll start with that video once again. Important days, International Mother Earth Day, or it is known as Earth Day as well, which is celebrated on 22nd April. Now the important part is theme. Invest in our planet. There are many students who write that I need to teach them all the important days and all the themes of the important days. You can understand from 1st to 30th they actually mark every day as something or the other. I cannot teach you every day because you cannot even learn these many days. I select important ones, I teach you important ones. And even the themes of all the days are not very significant. If I select themes of a few days, that means you have to learn only those days. Please don't focus on other irrelevant information, because that is going to be time consuming for you. I am saying International Mother Earth Day is observed on 22nd April. The theme is Invest in our planet. World Heritage Day. Now, if the question is there in your exam, which is about International Day for monuments and sites, students get confused. They are not able to relate that heritage, monuments, we are talking about one and the same thing. So World Heritage Day or International Day for monuments and sites is the same thing, which is celebrated on 18th April. And when I proceed, theme for it is Heritage and Climate. World Heritage Day, theme is Heritage and Climate. That was the theme, pretty easy. World Malaria Day is also asked. I actually look at the kind of questions which are there, which are asked in competitive exams. So I try to add only those questions. You may not consider World Malaria Day that important, but it is important. World Malaria Day is observed on 25th of April. I hope you are learning, be it 22nd, 18th or 25th April. We are moving ahead to the next question, which is about World Creativity and Innovation Day, which is observed on 21st of April. World Creativity and Innovation Day is observed on 21st of April. World Intellectual Property Day is observed on 26th of April. When you look at the theme, it is pretty important. IP and youth. Innovating for a better future. IP and youth, innovating for a better future. That was the theme for intellectual property. See, IP is intellectual property only. Here in the theme also you can relate that it is intellectual property, and youth, innovating for a better future. That is the theme. That's how you will be able to relate that this must be the theme. World Hemophilia Day, health condition hemophilia, where blood does not clot. So World Hemophilia Day is observed on 17th of April. And World Veterinary Day, World Vet Day, to be to make it easier for you. So World Vet Day, this year it was observed on 30th April. I actually wrote something in the bracket that you need to read it carefully. That last Saturday of April, which is falling on 30th this year. So 30th is the Saturday. That is why actually 30th April will be celebrated as World Vet Day. So every year it is going to be 30th April. It is not possible. I am saying every last Saturday of April will be celebrated as World Vet Day. You have to consider my words important when I speak. Try to listen to it carefully, because it is for your welfare. It is for your benefit. Because if you skip something, you will not be watching it again, because I know you will get bored. Please listen to it carefully when I speak. Now the title is Awards and Prizes. Now we'll be discussing important, super important people, those who have received Gyanpeeth, or you may call it Jananpeeth, whichever way you call it, that is all right. But learn the names of the recipients who received the award. I'll start with the 56th numbers Gyanpeeth Award winner. His name is Neelmani Fukan. You can actually see the picture here. When I call him Assamese poet, indirectly I told you what is his language in which he writes. Because in the exams, it is very much possible they may ask you in which language he writes. So Assamese poet, that means I've told you he writes in Assamese. So what is the name of the person? Neelmani Fukan. When I actually move to the next question, which is about 57th numbers Gyanpeeth Award, The recipient was Damodar Mauzo. Damodar Mauzo, actually he's a Konkani writer. You can see his picture also. 57th numbers Gyanpith Award was given to Damodar Mauzo, and I was saying that he's a Konkani writer, so I've actually told you his language Konkani too. Now when we move to the next question, if Gyanpith is important, so is Saraswati Samman. Saraswati Samman is equally important. When I look at the lower question, which is about Saraswati Samman 2021, this question is very, very important. Rather, 3 of them. You can't even skip one, believe me. You even understand that, you prepare for exams, you understand Gyanpith and Saraswati are super important. You can find them written anywhere. But I'm saying, when I try to add more and more points, when you watch one video, you understand we try to deliver 50 to 60 important points, all of them super important. I really feel if you learn from my videos, you will see a lot many questions in your exam. So try to watch the video and try to learn all the questions. Saraswati Samman is important, which was given to Ramdarash Mishra. So Ramdarash Mishra is the name of the person who received Saraswati Samman for his work Main To Yahan Hoon. Main To Yahan Hoon, that is the name of his poetry. I'm going to repeat that. Saraswati Samman 2021. Ramdarash Mishra is the recipient of Saraswati Samman, of 2021. Main To Yahan Hoon is the name of his poetry collection for which he received Saraswati Samman. I'll proceed with the other questions, which is about first Lata Dinanath Mangeshkar Award. We saw that, some time back, Lata Mangeshkar, passed away. Now, to obviously keep, her memories, going, we have to, start something of this kind. And this is basically Lata Dinanath Mangeshkar Award, which was for the first time given to Prime Minister Modi himself. You need to learn that. If something of this sort happens, and when it is first of its kind, then such questions are asked. That is why I'm teaching you. The next question is 2021's EY Entrepreneur of the Year, Falguni Nair. If you are not aware who Falguni Nair is basically from Nykaa. She's basically the CEO of Nykaa, and if you are not aware what Nykaa is, it is a beauty app. So Nykaa CEO, primarily a beauty app. Falguni Nair, actually she received 2021's EY Entrepreneur of the Year Award. When I move to the next question, which is about Amar Mitra, wins O. Henry Prize. If you know O. Henry, known for short stories, if such a prize is given in his name, that means O. Henry, famous for short stories. So somebody writing short stories which become famous, which require appreciation, so they'll be awarded with O. Henry Prize. So Amar Mitra wrote this Gaon Buro. And the strange part is he wrote it around 45 years back, and he received the award. Gaon Buro obviously is a short story collection. Now I'm saying Amar Mitra, O. Henry Prize winner for Gaon Buro. The translation of Gaon Buro in English form is The Old Man of Kusumpur. That is actually the English translation of this particular short story collection. The name is The Old Man of Kusumpur. Learn it like that. Let's move ahead. There I was, Amar Mitra's time, we were talking about West Bengal. So he's basically from West Bengal. So Indian visit by UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. You can see his picture and you can even relate. That is why I say the pictures are there for you only. Try to relate with them. That's how if you actually see them often, you'll be able to retain their names well. As Emmanuel Macron, as Boris Johnson, these people are very famous. So look at this person, Boris Johnson. He is UK's Prime Minister. He was on India visit. Now what he did, India and UK £1 billion deal was signed. A deal which was signed, they are saying it is £1 billion deal which was signed because he was on India visit. With India, they signed a deal. India visit by Mauritius Prime Minister. His name is Pravin Jugnauth. You know him. He is there, as Prime Minister, since ages. And you have seen this fellow many, many times. So Pravin Jugnauth is the Prime Minister of Mauritius. He was on India visit too. Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit 2022 took place in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. That is why this is important. Ayush, global Ayush, try to relate it as they are saying global Ayush. Global word is there, that is why it becomes important. It took place in Gandhinagar, Gujarat. That is why you have to learn it. So, Global Ayush Investment and Innovation Summit 2022 took place at Gujarat, Gandhinagar. International news, World Trade Organization 2022 global trade growth forecast cut to 3%. The growth rate must be any. Now they are actually projecting something. They are actually talking about something that this is going to happen. This is going to be the trade rate at which world trade will grow. Now we are saying that World Trade Organization did that. You understand it is an important organization. So such questions are bound to be there in your exam. I hope you will learn them. World Trade Organization 2022 talking about global trade growth forecast to be cut to 3%. It is going to be, the forecast, growth forecast is 3%. First country to give legal rights to wild animals. This is pretty strange. It has never happened. Now I'm saying first time it is happening that any country is showing some interest in animals also, and they are giving rights to animals. That is why it is important. First of its kind, first country to give legal rights to wild animals. The name of the country is Ecuador. G20 Chief Coordinator Harshvardhan Shringla. You must be thinking why we are talking about G20 and why his name is Harshvardhan sort of. Please, India is actually doing the presidency of a G20. The G20 summit will take place in India only. For what period, from what period to what period, India is actually going to do the presidency. That is also important, but I have started with this question, which is I found way more important. G20 Chief Coordinator Harshvardhan Shringla. This is the picture of this fellow. He is going to be the Chief Coordinator, and India is G20 presidency's period. That means India's G20 presidency period from December 22 to November 23. That is the period. India is doing the presidency of G20. Now G20 summit 2023 will take place in India. That is why I was saying as summit will take place in India, that is why this is important for us, super important for us. So the name of the person, India will do the presidency, and the period, all the questions are going to be there because it is related with G20. Now we'll start with banking awareness. Many questions are there, but these questions, a few of them are pretty much relevant for only those students who are writing banking exams. So other students are, if they are not willing to learn these questions, they can skip for 5-10 minutes. Now I'm saying banking news. That is actually first monetary policy review. As we know, the financial year just started, so it is going to be the first bi-monthly policy review from RBI. So it is actually for 2022-23 which is going on. I'm saying repo rate 4%. Fixed reverse repo rate 3.35%, bank rate 4.25%, marginal standing facility 4.25%. These questions are okay types. This question is going to be there in your exam surely. Whichever way it comes, you will be able to answer if you actually listen to me for some time super carefully. Otherwise, you will not be able to understand. You can try reading it. You can try decoding it on your own. Please do that. I'm requesting you, please do that on your own. If you are able to understand, I'm glad, I'm happy. Otherwise, I'll try to make this easier for you. It is written new floor of LAF corridor. Liquidity adjustment facility for you. Liquidity adjustment facility corridor. Standing deposit facility to absorb liquidity. Did you understand something? If not, now I'm going to repeat. I'm going to start. First, look at it. To absorb liquidity, what does it mean? We are saying in our country, as liquidity is very high, what does it mean? Cash is very high. Cash flow is very high. Cash in the market is available in abundance. That's how the inflation is actually rising. to control inflation. What RBI is going to do? RBI is going to absorb liquidity from the market. How they are going to do that? That is what I am going to explain. If cash is more, if liquidity is more in the market, RBI is going to take that cash back, take that liquidity back. I am trying to say by doing that, they will be able to control inflation. Now, I will try to make even more easier for you. Now, I will repeat that. Just look at it. Corridor means they are, showing some sort of window. As they have mentioned them as floors, I am making floors here. When I say repo is here, for example, repo rate is here and reverse repo is here. If reverse repo is here, now they are saying new floor of LAF corridor, consider it LAF corridor, one is repo and the other one is reverse repo. Now they are actually replacing this floor with standing deposit facility. That means at this place, standing deposit facility is going to be there. But please understand that we are not saying that reverse repo will not be there any further. It is going to be there. Only the place is changed. They are considering standing deposit facility as the base now. Standing deposit facility as the base now in LAF corridor. Why they have created such a floor? Why they have created such a floor? Such a floor has been created by RBI to absorb liquidity from the market. And when they are doing it, just look at it. Standing deposit facility rate 3.75%. Now when I am going to teach you, you will be able to understand the whole thing. Please listen to it carefully. Now when reverse repo rate is there, please understand that RBI takes money from the bank. And RBI pays some interest rate to those banks. If they wish to take more and more money from the bank, if they wish to take more and more liquidity from the bank, they wish to absorb more and more liquidity from the bank, they'll actually incentivize them. They have kept this rate higher at which banks will be able to earn more. The liquidity which they'll deposit, the money which they'll deposit with RBI at this particular rate, you need to understand it is high. It is higher than, you can say, 3.35%. I am saying that is why standing deposit facility has come into picture, through which RBI is going to absorb liquidity from the market. Now, one more thing I wish to add. They may ask you this as a question too. Please read that carefully. It is clearly written over here that no GSEC collateral. Clearly written here. That means if RBI takes money from banks, RBI actually, if you take loan from, some bank, you actually keep things as collateral. That is pretty much usual. Now even RBI does something. What RBI does, it keeps government securities as collateral when they take, money from the banks. Here in this case, RBI is actually taking money from the banks at higher rates but keeping no government securities as collateral. Please understand that it is the goodwill of RBI to which banks will deposit their liquidity to them. Now the next question is co-branded credit card, the easier kind of questions where not very you can say the understanding is not required. You can just learn them like that. So co-branded credit card launched by Indian Oil and Kotak Mahindra Bank. So Kotak Mahindra Bank and co-branded credit card with Indian Oil. So these are actually two institutions which are coming together to launch a credit card. Airtel Payments Bank and IndusInd Bank. Airtel Payment Bank and IndusInd Bank. If Airtel Payments Bank is offering FD sort of thing, they are actually doing it with the help of IndusInd Bank. They are actually tying up for that facility. Bandhan Financial led consortium, conglomerate or a group led by Bandhan Financial only. So Bandhan Bank, you can now relate it. So Bandhan Financial led consortium group buys IDFC Mutual Fund business at 4,500 crores. if such sort of deal is taking place where thousands of crores are actually, into the picture, such questions are asked. What is buying what? Bandhan Financial Led Group is buying IDFC Mutual Fund business at the price of 4,500 crores. 4,500 crores. Cardless cash withdrawal is also possible at ATMs. Not everybody, carries cards all the time. Now they are saying even without cards, you can, withdraw money from the ATMs. How you are going to do that? You are going to do it with this feature, UPI, Unified Payments Interface. So UPI is there through which you can actually, take out money, withdraw money from ATMs without, a card is there. Without a card. Now, HDFC Limited sells 3% stake in Bandhan Bank. It is the news that we require in banking news. This is the most important one. You can say that HDFC, is selling something. HDFC, whatever is related with HDFC, that is, asked. So HDFC is selling its stake of 3% of Bandhan Bank. The next question is for UAE India. Money transfer. Federal Bank ties up with Mashreq Bank. When you say that I have not heard about Mashreq Bank is from UAE. A lot many Indians, live there in UAE. They send money. So such things, make, such sort of transfers, easy. Such sort of transactions, take place very easily. So India and UAE, money transfer. Now you can understand what I'm referring to. Federal Bank and Mashreq Bank came together for such a thing. When I move ahead, Bheem UPI goes live at NeoPay terminals, because there are many students who are going to say that we have not heard about, Neo terminals, NeoPay terminals. NeoPay terminals, I'm talking about UAE. In UAE. If you cannot recall anything, a few videos back I've actually talked about, such things, that there were countries prior to that where we have started our Bheem UPI. So our Bheem UPI started at Singapore in 2020. 2020 we have started with, see, when you actually talk about Bheem UPI, as Bheem UPI has the word Bharat, it belongs to India. When you go abroad, when you move abroad, that sort of question becomes important for us. So Singapore is the place where we went live for the first time. We went abroad. That means this Bheem UPI live went abroad. The second nation was Bhutan in 2021, and we moved to UAE and Nepal in 2022. Both the nations we actually, placed our Bheem UPI there in 2022. That is why I am explaining about UAE in the upper point, that at Neo terminals in UAE we went live. Bheem UPI goes live there in UAE on Neo Pay terminals. There's a possibility they may ask you the names of these nations where Bheem UPI, went live. That actually, became live, is present over there. So learn the names of these. Now development projects and inaugurations. A lot many important things are going to come. If you are still watching, you can press the like button. Live batches are there in Vidya Guru. If you wish to join, you can call up, on the numbers which are given below, and they are going to be complete English medium batches. Okay. When I start with the first point in development projects, Oil India to set up India's first pure green hydrogen plant. First, they may ask you the names of the organizations which are involved, which are actually doing something of this sort. And what they are doing, they are actually generating first pure green hydrogen. So pure green hydrogen plant has to be, has to be set up. Jorhat is the place, Assam is the place. Jorhat is in Assam. Oil India is actually, coming up with a plant, in Jorhat. When I move to the second question, first state to install L-route server for fast internet, Rajasthan. Okay, high speed internet is the requirement. Basically, every state wants to have that. For that, Rajasthan has done something so that, uninterrupted, high speed internet can be provided to the people who live there. For that, they came up with L-route server. For that, they have installed it. They'll be receiving fast internet because of it. Rajasthan has become the first state to do so. When you move to the next question, world's highest tunnel to come up at Shinkula Pass. Now, when I say pass, when I talk about highest tunnel, that means I've started talking about mountains. And when the tunnels, such sort of tunnels are made, when we call them pass, they are actually made by Borders Road Organization. So Border Road Organization, that means BRO, as you can even see, it is there in the picture also. So BRO behind, Shinkula Pass. Even the altitude is written. The height is also mentioned, like 16,580 feet. Please read that. World's highest tunnel. That is why, So I was saying it is going to connect Janskar to Manali. It is going to, connect Janskar to Manali. When somebody asks you where Janskar is, where this Shinkula Pass, passing, where Janskar is in Ladakh. Janskar Valley is in Ladakh. And Manali is in Himachal Pradesh. We all know that is going to connect. Please learn that. Border Roads Organization is actually, making this highest tunnel. Now, under development projects and inaugurations again, Prime Minister Modi was actually attending something in J&K. He made some, announcements. So, these are the announcements you can say. So, that is why they are important. 20,000 crore they are going to spend for the development projects unveiled in Jammu and Kashmir. When I proceed with that this is the amount which they will be spending for the projects in J&K. The first one is Banihal Kazikan Tunnel. The classification is such that Ratle and Kawar hydroelectric project, 2 hydroelectric projects are there in Kishtwar place and on the river Chenab. 2 hydroelectric projects in Kishtwar place and on Chenab river. Foundation stone of 3 road packages of Delhi Amritsar Katra Expressway laid. They laid actually the foundation stone of 3 road packages. When I move to the 4th announcement, you can say 4th important point. Initiative to develop 75 water bodies in India's each district Amrit Sarovar. I'll repeat that. Initiative to develop 75 water bodies in India's each district, and they are actually calling it under the name under which they'll be creating it, Amrit Sarovar. Amrit Sarovar. When I proceed with the next question, it is about NTPC to set up 2500 megawatt ultra mega solar power project. NTPC is the name of the organization who is actually coming up. Who's tying up with NTPC to do so? Maharashtra is actually doing it. So NTPC in Maharashtra with Maharashtra setting up one solar power project. And what is the capacity of it? It is 2500 megawatt. When I proceed with the next question, which is about launch of initiators of plastic waste management and environmental sustainability awareness mascot. That mascot is Prakriti. Prakriti is the mascot. Nature, they are actually calling it. Prakriti means nature. That is what we are saying. But it is written everywhere as Prakriti. You have to learn it as Prakriti. You can't translate it to English. So I was saying that launch of initiators for plastic waste management and environmental sustainability awareness mascot is Prakriti. What is Prakriti? Prakriti is a mascot. When I move to the next question, Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya Museum opens at Teen Murti Bhavan, Delhi. It was in news. It was in news, and whatever happens at Teen Murti, it becomes important. Teen Murti in Delhi is an important place where they actually built Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya there. So Pradhan Mantri Museum, Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya has come up at Teen Murti Bhavan now, and they opened it on 14th April. If you wish to understand what is the significance of 14th April, it is actually the birth anniversary of Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar's birth anniversary, Ambedkar Jayanti, is on 14th April. So they unveiled it. They actually opened this Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya on this particular date. Now government schemes are there. Obviously they are very important and you really don't find them important, but these are going to be there in your exams for sure. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan extended till 31st March 2026. They are saying what is the budget, what is the outlay? 5911 crores, 5911 crores. That is going to be the outlay, that is going to be the budget, that is going to be the expense on that particular scheme. Which one? Rashtriya Gram Swaraj Abhiyan. National monetization pipeline. You must be thinking what it is, what I've written here in these, terms. The government is selling its stake. Disinvestment, if you understand it like that. The government is selling its stake. By that, they have generated 96,000 crores. 96,000 crores. So they are selling it, their stake. So in financial year 21-22, they are saying that this is the national monetization pipeline and through which they have collected 96,000 crores. Swanidhi se Samriddhi expanded to additional 126 cities by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. I'll repeat that for you. I spoke very quickly. Swanidhi se Samriddhi. They're talking about a scheme. If they give you the name of this scheme and they ask you which ministry is behind the launch of the scheme, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is behind the scheme of Swanidhi se Samriddhi. Now, when I say it has been expanded to, they have added more 126 cities. They'll be giving the benefit to more 126 cities. What is it about? For that, you need to learn the full form of Swanidhi. You yourself will be able to make out. Swanidhi, street vendors, Atmanirbhar Nidhi. Now, by the name itself, by the expanded form itself, it is about street vendors. So, street vendors, Atmanirbhar Nidhi. Nidhi means we are talking about money, we are talking about loans only. So, they are going to provide loans to them only. That is why I was saying street vendor Atmanirbhar Nidhi. That is the full form of Swanidhi se Samriddhi. But what is this scheme, as in like which ministry is behind the scheme? This is basically the important question. So learn it like that, move to the next question. Okay, defense news, important part. Launch of 6th Scorpene Kalvari class submarine. When I say something of that sort. Scorpene class submarine. Submarine means undersea vehicles. Submarines are undersea vehicles, and in Hindi we call them Pandubi. So submarines are undersea vehicles. When I say launch of 6th Scorpene class submarine, I can call it Kalvari class submarine also. What is the reason of calling it Kalvari class submarine? Because Kalvari was the first of its kind. So many times this happens, like by the first, in the name of first, we actually keep the name of the entire class. So Kalvari class submarine or Scorpene class submarine, one and the same thing. Now we are saying under this project 75, INS Vakshir was launched. You may have heard a lot many times from me about INS Vakshir, but this time I really felt such questions are asked too. I am giving you one more name to add. It was manufactured by Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. That is very, very important. Try to relate that. Because they may ask you that INS Vakshir was launched. Who was behind the manufacturing? Who was behind the making of this particular vessel? Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited was, behind this submarine's launch. Okay. As per Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. It is the institute which is actually talking about the peace in the nations. So if, some country is purchasing more weapons, more arms, so they have to name them, they have to actually give them the numbers. They're doing it. As per Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, India's military spending in 21 was $76.6 billion. That is huge. But that is actually third in the world. That means amount which is spent by USA is going to keep USA at the first number. The amount which is spent by China on military expenses is going to keep China on the second number. But even India spends a lot. So you need to even understand that India was kept on the third rank. A lot many nations are there and we are actually spending a lot on military. So third India. The next question in defense news is about 9th India-Kyrgyzstan Joint Special Force Exercise. First, learn the names of the nations between which the exercise is taking place. If the number is known, learn that number because the exercise is taking place often and it took place 8 times earlier. The one which took place this year, it was 9th. 9th numbers, India and Kyrgyzstan joint special forces exercise took place in Baklo, which is in Himachal Pradesh. The next question is Defense, Research and Development Organization. DRDO test helicopter launched anti-tank guided missile Helena. See, when Helena is actually launched, when Helena is test fired, please understand that it has to be launched from a helicopter. That is what they are doing it. So DRDO test helicopter launched Helena. What is Helena? It is an anti-tank guided missile. I have actually answered the question, if you have any in your mind, that Helena is an anti-tank guided missile. When I move to the next question, DRDO test enhanced rocket. DRDO test enhanced rocket system Pinaka Mk1 and Pinaka area denial munition. Now I'm going to repeat that. We were talking about DRDO's test fires. Here also we are talking, something of that sort only. Pinaka is famous basically. Now we are saying something enhanced, like enhanced rocket system. Pinaka Mk1 was, test fired. When I say along with this Pinaka Mk1, Pinaka area denial munition was also test fired. That has to be learned. The names of these two, they are super significant. Now, when you look at this question, which is about state news, Niti Aayog State Energy Climate Index, round 1. See, when they mention them as round 1 also, even that becomes significant for you. It is done by Niti Aayog. Even the last question is super significant. That means I've told you indirectly. I'm going to wrap up soon. Be focused, be focused. Niti Aayog State Energy and Climate Index round 1 has come up. According to that index, in larger states, Gujarat topped it. In smaller states, Goa topped it. In UTs, you can say Chandigarh topped it. That is how they are actually disclosing it. Now we'll actually see them one by one. The first three. First Gujarat, larger state. Second Kerala, larger state. Third Punjab in larger states. Smaller states, first Goa, second Tripura, and the third one is Manipur. Smaller states. UTs, first Chandigarh, second Delhi, and the third one is Daman and Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli. If you actually consider them two union territories, they are not. They have actually become one way back. This is one union territory only, which was kept on the third number as per Niti Aayog. Here I'm wrapping up. If you've understood everything, you can press the like button. If you could not understand anything, you can re-watch it, because you cannot skip any question, or you can actually watch the Hindi video as well. I'm wrapping up. Thank you so much for watching.